Long now has mankind looked up to the skies and wondered if we are alone in this universe. Many miraculous things have been spotted all over the world, reported by our militaries, and sparked great debates amongst ourselves. I am here to tell you that, ladies and gentlemen, people of Earth, brothers and sisters of all races, all countries, that we are not alone. We have never been alone. That some higher power has sought to spread the gift of life throughout the universe and beyond all comprehension. It is in these times we must learn to love one another. We must not share hate, but joy. We must not inhibit, but we must grow. These beings are our friends. They are our family. They want to help us become better, to see the true potential of mankind. And for maybe one day, we will join them in their voyage to help other beings from other star systems. As shocking as this news may be, it is nothing new. Our governments of the world have known for quite some time that we are not alone in this universe, and we have had contact for many of years, slowly preparing the American public and the publics of the world for such revelation. We are not alone, and we are about to embark on the greatest journey mankind has ever experienced. Ladies and gentlemen, we have contact.
Well, oh God, guys, you have no idea, ladies and gentlemen, in the podcast world, that you can't see this guy next to
that
me.
just hurt my eyes.
Don't do that, Dakota. You don't want your brain falling out your eyeball if it pops out. You know. I mean, it doesn't matter anyway. Listen, guys, we're going to be joined tonight by the Knowledge Within. Lewis was going to be joining us tonight, but he's had some very technical problems. Now, let me tell you what's happened in the last week or two. We added a video. Oh my God, it must have been about 2 years ago, and it was called Conspiracy Live, and it was me and my host Lewis, and that was took down. YouTube removed it, right? Which I find very strange, considering he goes to join us tonight, and his PC monitor dies, right? So he gets another one out, and it doesn't work, and now he thinks the motherboard's gone in his PC. I mean, what's your thoughts on that, Dakota? What is your? I mean, that's just crazy.
The poor guy had a real bad electrical surge.
Yes.
That just happened to pop through. That's a little odd.
Yes. I mean, it's not just this, guys. I mean, I'll get into why he was going to be coming on tonight, because he's got some amazing photography of the moon, guys, and some amazing things that's been spied on the moon, like UFOs. And it's not just that. I gave him a video a long time ago where I had a UFO sighting, and at the time I tried to record it, but for my phone it would not work for some weird reason. It just wouldn't show up. But Lewis actually sorted it out. I don't know how he did it. He's obviously used computer programs to like change the graphics and such. I've got 3 photos there. Dakota's got the video there that he done, but we're not going to play any sound. Is it? Can you?
The video's not wanting to upload, man.
See, the video's not. See, this is what I mean, guys. This is crazy.
I'm trying some stuff on the back end to see if I can make it work, but you may have to try to pull it up on your end.
So first of all, let's see everybody in the chat. Who have we all got here?
Big Mike.
Mike, guys, go and subscribe to his channel. Awesome guy. Dobby Sock. Hello, Dobby. Who's that? Who else have we got? Who's Bald and Bonkers? Who could that be? terrible. I wonder who it could be.
There's a couple of
Have many
knobheads, I imagine.
I know. Probably there's a couple of knobheads. So who have we got in the Facebook side, Dakota? Bring that
We
in
have
here.
Gabriella Elizabeth. Hello.
Hello.
It kind of looks like we have a couple of lurkers. So hello to you too.
Hello, lurkers. I think I know who's watching this tonight. One of my friends is called Alan, and it's from. Remember, I used to do videos called the Chris and Alan Show.
Oh yeah, you came on with our
When
previous affiliations. Remember?
Yes, it's Alan. So, hello, Alan, and your family. You'll be sitting next to. Now, so guys, yeah, Mike, what's up, guys? Yeah. So guys, we're going to discuss quite a lot of interesting stuff tonight. Obviously, Lewis was meant to be on with us, but obviously, the government in the world, the secret stealth governments, don't want him for some reason to speak. But he will be coming back when he gets probably 2 new PC monitors and a new motherboard.
Ugh, that's a pricey bill, my friend.
It really is. So we've got some pictures I want to show you, but we'll leave that to after. So if anybody in the chat would like to come up, would anybody in the chat like to come up and join the open panel? What do you think,
Hey.
Dakota?
I was about to say, come hang out with us, discuss what you think about what's going on with the UFO side of things. Enough people show up, maybe we'll give you an update on where the documentary Kickstarter is going.
Oh, yes.
Showing Chris some new merch ideas.
But
Let's just say, whether you love us or you hate us, sorry about that. Whether you love us or you hate us, you get to bang us off a lot.
Yeah. Dear Jesus, Lord, I just do not know. I just do not know sometimes. I really don't. It's Sunday night, you know. Dakota's went mad. If you want, I'm hiring a new co-host. If you want to contact me on Facebook. We've also got, and Dakota's tried his best. I must admit, he's an amazing guy. A website now.
That we do. It's still a lot in the works. I was spending some more time on it, trying to get a store set up, but that's arguing with me. Baldandbonkers.net. Come check us out there. We'll have a lot more information on all sorts of projects we have lined up. So we did just manage to land a film distributor to help us with the documentary once that's good to go. So.
Yes, we did, guys. If big things are coming. And this is also, I want to, Dakota, do you want to tell them about the main channel, Bald and Bonkers main channel? What we're doing with the live stuff?
Yes. So we have had some people raise some concerns that the live wasn't getting broadcast to the main channel.
Yeah.
We're kind of testing out some analytics on the side of things, how different websites measure view counts to try to help boost our numbers a little bit better.
Yeah.
So what a lot of people don't realize, and it's probably because a lot of people were boosting up their own views through doing live shows like this, is that when you guys come in to watch us during the live shows, which we love, by the way. We love talking with y'all, sharing ideas, goofing around. We love the live interaction. YouTube, not so much.
That was me posted the link, by the way.
That's the link to join us in the show right now before anybody gets confused.
Yeah.
It kind of sounded like she wanted the link to the website, which I said it doesn't get much more simple than baldandbonkers.net.
Yeah. We've got a new person in the chat. We've got a new person in the chat here. Bigfoot, where is he? Bigfoot Annan. Welcome, Bigfoot. You better watch yourself, Bigfoot. Mike, the naked Bigfoot's in here.
Since when did Sasquatch started doing Shakespeare? Alas, we set out into the woods to find Bigfoot anon.
But anyway, guys,
will not be
take that. So take that link, guys, if you want to come in, and we're going to discuss UFO subject tonight. Obviously, it's contact, you know.
you have to remember, ladies and gentlemen, we do put our shows out list them on IMDb. So if you have anything that you want to promote on your side, that can definitely help out. It's free advertising with the
I
world's
know.
biggest company. And plus, part of the plans for the documentary is to take clips from the shows to help with the filming.
Yes.
So
And
maybe
just
it could be in a movie. Come
yeah,
see it.
can you imagine? I mean, this is what I
At
want
the
to
end of
say
the day,
too.
Chris.
As this is also getting uploaded as podcast form, guys. We would really appreciate it if you went on to Amazon Music. And I'm no spouting off all the locations. Where about a quick run off, Dakota? Where are we coming from?
Oh lordy! And if you go onto the main website that we set up, I've started putting together little links on there, so that way Chris can stop pimping me out, making me talk. But let's see. Oh, where to find us? That would be probably a good place to start. Who's that Chris Mule that just liked our show on Facebook? That weirdo.
I just don't know who Chris will
Anyway,
be. I mean, my
we're
name's Chris Wall.
obviously
I
on
don't know who Chris
Parapost
will be.
Network. So thank you. Brian. We have Radio Public. We have Libsyn, Amazon Music, Audible, Twitch, iTunes, Anchor, Spotify, Twitter, D Live, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio. We hit a lot of the major platforms already.
Yes. So we're out there, guys. So I mean, we're loading this up onto YouTube, obviously because it's alive, and Facebook. But we would love you to come over to the podcast side and give us a subscribe. You know, because it just builds it up.
You know, if in case you can't make the lives, the podcast is there. Or if you think you see or hear something weird that maybe we don't catch, maybe the podcast can help bring it out. You never know. I've actually had a couple people message me saying they thought they heard other voices in the podcast that we didn't catch the first time when we were shooting it.
Yeah. So, Dakota, do you want to discuss UFO? Because we're a UFO show after all, you know.
Yeah.
So,
UFO, ET based stuff, I guess.
So, guys, let me tell you there's something that happened to me. Now, this was a couple of years ago, right? And honestly, I didn't think I seen something, but it was one of those things that I had the video of it, but it didn't show anything, which I found very strange, right? Which is, I was out walk, I was over the hills and glens, and I walked up to a certain type of mast, right, as one does do, just because I was nosy. And I seemed to get a really sore head, and I don't know if this was anything to do with this, but maybe it was something that made me see them. I don't know. And I looked over my valley, because my village is in a valley, and I seen this one little dot, and it was away in the horizon, and it get closer, and it get closer, and it get closer, and it get bigger and bigger. And it was weird how it was, because it wasn't an aircraft. It had no flashing lights. It was very slow, and it wasn't a helicopter. Because when it came in closer, it was huge, guys. I mean, this thing was big, right? And it was hovering above each wind turbine, right? And this is what I can't get. It was hovering above each wind turbine, quite low. So I taken video of it, right? And I sent it to my friend. His name's Lewis. And I actually thought I'd lost the evidence. I thought I'd lost the video because a couple of years had passed. But he messaged me the other day there because he'd got a new computer with new graphics, and he was going through it. And oh my God, the images. Well, I show them, Dakota. Well, I show some of the images first. I take it you've had no luck with the video.
It's trying to upload right now, but let's start with the images.
Right, let's see. I'll start off with, tell me in the chat if any of you can see anything. Now, bear in mind, it's a still image, right? It's been taken from a video. The contrast and everything's been changed. Can anyone see anything in that picture? Let's just see what everybody in the chat thinks of that. I'm reading the chat from my phone, so because I can't really see it when I'm doing this. Now, if you look, you've got obviously the clouds, and then you've got like a break in the clouds, and then it's the clouds again. Do you see the weird looking smudge to the left next to the tree? Now, at the time, I thought there was only one unidentified things there, right? I did not realize there was two. It's amazing how changing the contrast, Dakota. I mean, what's your thoughts on this, Dakota?
Honestly, and I know there's some people that have tried to say I'm ignorant because I try to retain a skeptical viewpoint, but
Yes.
from this enough, it just looks like a weird pattern in the clouds.
Yep.
Had I not seen the video footage myself,
Yeah.
I would have been a little bit more skeptical. But it's definitely interesting to say the least.
Right. Here's the second one. This is kind of similar. As you can see, it's zoomed in. You can zoom this in yourself, guys. I mean, the one to the right, I did not know that was there. Honestly, guys, when I was viewing this, all I seen was one to the left next to the tree. And you got to remember, guys, this is quite far away. These things are quite far away. I mean, in the distance, you can see mountains. That's the mountains of Loch Lomond. And Glasgow is maybe 28 miles. And then it's the mountains. These things were probably about 8 miles away from me. I mean, what size would you say these were, Dakota? And realism, what do you think they were in size?
It's hard to gauge. Really. And the computer that I was uploading the video from just crashed. Great.
Which is strange again, because there's some
Not
that's
as
been
severe,
drawn.
but
We've had a lot of strange things happen in this today and yesterday. I've been having problems too with my internet and stuff. It's only
you
with
also have to
associated
remember there
things.
was a real bad solar flare not too long ago that would be fucking all this up.
You know, I actually downloaded all this onto my phone, and I actually had problems with my Facebook Messenger. It actually locked me out, and it deleted all the messages for me, which I found very, very interesting. I mean, what you guys can see here is see the one at the left next to the tree. I watched that. I had a cheap Android phone, right? And for some weird reason, it just died on me with a full battery. It just died, and it would not turn back on. So I watched it, and it went over at the windmills, the big turbines, and it sat. And unknown to me, there was obviously another one there, which I didn't see. And I must have spent about 20 minutes watching this thing, going from turbine to turbine, and then it's not just turbine, it would come back again. And then it went up, 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 up higher, and I could still see it, and it went up, up, up higher, and I could still see it. And then I turned around, and I looked back, and it was gone. As if it just dematerialized. And that's when it all started for me. That's when all my UFO stuff, just after that, when I started having things happen, that's when it happened for me. Did you know, Dakota, that was just as I met you? Did you know that?
And I find it funny that we start finding all this information out that we have been finding these last few days, last few months, I should say, rather. That just as we're starting to get a better handle on these things, we're starting to dig up, we're starting to see old stuff out of the evidence we missed before.
Yeah.
So I've been having the same thing too, where I'm looking through and I'm going, wait the fuck a sec. Well, when was that there?
I mean, on the video, guys, you can actually see there's a main road, and you can actually see like trucks and buses and that driving along it, because it's obviously it's not like a frozen picture, right? And if you look, you can see this little dot just moving so slow, and then it stops and it starts moving back. I honestly thought it was like a balloon or something, right? And then I was looking at it and I thought, that can't be a balloon, because if it was a balloon, it would be the size of the Hindenburg, you know, the big hydrogen balloon. It was huge. I've never seen anything that size. And when I watched it over by the turbines, the sky had got a lot clearer, and my phone was dead, even though it was had a full charge, right? And wait to tell you something, you've got to feel spooked at this, right? After that disappeared, I walked into that house. I walked into my house, and my phone turned back on, and it still had like 98% battery life left in it. It was as if something, and I've heard this a lot about reports. I've heard this with people that have tried to film UFOs. Their camera shuts down, or their phone shuts down, or whatever they're trying to film that with goes odd. Have you ever come across that, Dakota?
Yeah, I've had that happen a couple of times.
Yeah. Well, Chad Smith podcast, welcome. But it's I can't get over this, because it was a month before. It was exactly a month before I met Dakota, right? And that's when all the weird stuff started to happen. And I mean, like, weird dreams about certain entities started to happen after that. And you know what's actually interesting? Drew's paranormal vlog that comes on here, she was on with me last night. They seen UFOs above the wind turbines. That UFO was to the left, exactly where they've seen UFOs. So it makes you wonder.
What you're saying, in the view of that photo, Drew's house can actually be seen from there?
Drew's village is about exactly underneath it. Exactly. Underneath it. It's maybe 3 miles away, but it's exactly underneath it. Which is strange. It's not just that, guys. I've seen a lot of strange things. I mean, I could go back maybe when I was maybe 17, 18, and I was out a walk one night, and I seen weird orbs in the skies playing with each other, flying around about, then they shot straight up. I think it's not just here, guys. Scotland is famous for UFO sightings. But everywhere's, I mean, it's as if it's like intensifying. The UFO activity is intensifying.
You know, that's bringing. I told you about this.
No.
Within these last few weeks, one of the major Air Force bases here just released a report saying that a couple of their fighter jets were chasing 3 bright orange lights flying around.
Yeah.
It's like we having it here. A lot of people question, why would, you hear all this talk about nuclear weapons and all that.
Yeah.
We do have a nuclear factory here in Idaho. It's more towards the Pocatello area. There's what a lot of the mental asylums are. In fact, when Mike was on, we had Mike on, we were talking about the Bunny Man. That's where one of ours was, because it was some guy who just got released walking around in a bunny suit. Not hurting anybody, but anyway.
Yeah.
There's a lot of UFO sightings around there, but we also have a lake more towards the middle of Idaho, closer to the Oregon-Washington borders. That's so big, the Navy actually uses it to test nuclear subs.
Right.
And they've been doing that since the Second World War. And basic logic was, who's going to think of looking for submarines in the middle of the woods?
Yeah.
But from where I'm from here in Idaho, I was initially skeptical, because we do have a lot of Air Force bases around here.
Yeah.
But year 2020, right as this stuff started kicking up a lot more, my home state was rated top in the U.S. for UFO sightings.
I will say this, right, and there has been a part of the world that's been affected by UFOs lately, and it's one of the places you wouldn't expect it would be, especially what's happening there. I'm going to name it Ukraine, right? Ukraine has unwhelmingly UFOs. I mean, ridiculously off the scale UFOs that have been seen shooting straight up into space. They've been shooting across them. There was one UFO I watched it. It shot along. It stopped. It stopped and then it went straight up again. A lot of people say, yeah, there's maybe drones, right? It's maybe it's maybe drones for Ukrainian army or the Russians, right? Are using drones, right? Listen, guys, a drone doesn't cut across a city in another half a millisecond, right? And then shoot straight up into space. There's only so many places a drone can go. Did you see that video, Dakota? The one that I sent you? I mean, that video was quite interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Could you tell us a wee bit of that?
A lot of people obviously go for the drone explanation. There's been a couple incidents where I've been seeing weird stuff in the sky, and the first thing that people pointed out that who were aware of the situation was, Dakota, they did have to bust out some drones due to a police standoff that was happening about 3 miles up the road from me. And it's just that the military is cheap. Even though, with the U.S. military, example, it spends more than like what the next 20 countries on the list combined as far as spending when it comes to the military. The military is cheap. They want to make sure it's inexpensive as possible. That's why a lot of weapons get left in war zones, just because it's a lot cheaper just to make new ones than to clean everything up. Yes, there are some pretty sophisticated craft out there, but to be able to pull off of those maneuvers, the way they are,
straight up going down,
either the pilot has some serious freaking skill, or it's not one of ours, and that's been a lot of the concern with. I mean, ever since Kennedy was in office, that a lot of these craft, no one knows where they're coming from.
And that is a good point. Where are they coming from? I mean, people think, yeah, it's space. It's obviously space. Is it space? Is it space? It's obviously space. But it might not be. It might be a different reality. It might be a different dimension. I mean, some of these ships, I'll call them ships, UFOs, whatever, have been actually seen appearing and then disappearing again instantly. Some of them went into the water. That's what I find fascinating. What was it, Dakota? Was it a US military ship, Navy ship that recorded unidentified? It was a USO.
Or the triangles that were surrounding it.
No, I'm talking about the Navy ship. That I can't remember if it was Chinese or American or Russian or whatever. But it was something under the water, and it was traveling really fast. I mean, there's only a certain speed you can travel under the water because they drag. And this thing was going faster under the water than what a jet could go. And it was causing no ripple effect. See, a lot of people think that the UFOs that we're seeing are actually from here. They're from under the sea. And that's, if you watch Ancient Aliens or you watch any other type of UFO program on TV, you will find it very interesting that the fact there's a lot of UFOs seen, especially in the Mediterranean, and what's the name of that place that it was on TV no long ago? It was meant they were testing explosives next to ships in the sea. Remember you sent me a message saying they were detonating, there was an awful fleet.
Oh God, what was that?
It's no Atlantic, it's what was that again? What was that? The Chinese have been built.
No, are you talking about that
Pacific
big ass fucking bomb that went off? Then all of a sudden, like a few weeks later, there was a nasty oil spill and everything was catching fire within the same vicinity.
No, they tested off a large explosion to test their new aircraft carrier in the Pacific, and it damaged it.
There's numerous different tests have been going on like that lately, man.
Yeah, well, in the Pacific, there's been really big reports of UFO sightings, and I mean swarming ships. And that's where the Tic Tac was. That was in the Pacific. The two jets were chasing after it.
They're following the Ring of Fire.
Yeah, I mean that's suggested where Atlantis is meant to be, and I mean I I don't know, mythical city, you know, but there's stuff there, guys, that's people see a lot more strangeness in the Pacific than the Atlantic. You've obviously got the Bermuda Triangle below Florida. But I found that really interesting what Dakota was telling me that day. All the different locations. Where was that, Dakota? The different locations. There was another triangle. Was it the Devil's Triangle?
Oh, you're mixing up details, but yes.
Yeah.
We were talking about Suicide Forest in Japan,
Yes.
Ogihara.
That's
And
a
I
lot.
found an awful lot of convenience. And the reason why this was coming up in conversation, for those who don't know, is that there was a big project that's pretty much shot in the ass by now that Chris and I were both involved with. And I found it kind of funny. I started paying attention to the maps that the Dragon's Triangle,
Right,
is what it's referred to as. It's basically a version of Bermuda that some speculate actually even worse. That's just off the coast of Japan. And I found it kind of funny that one of the very tips of the Dragon's Triangle just so happens, and I have not seen any other programs that speculated the connection here. The very tip of that triangle is just off the coast of Japan, where Okihara is.
Yeah. And there's been a lot of UFO sightings too in the haunted forest. I mean, it's mind-boggling. There's a word for you. It's mind-boggling what is actually above us right now. I wonder if what's that Dobie Sock? I wonder if that is where the idea of War of the Worlds, the machines came up from under the ground. Dakota, do you want to take this one?
Certainly makes me wonder. A lot of the sci-fi films, especially nowadays, because we have the CGI and the technology to be able to recreate it, does have some basis. A lot of people don't realize that Steven Spielberg, for Close Encounters of the Third Kind, had Project Blue Book files to reference.
Yeah.
The things out of War of the Worlds. If you're talking about the Tom Cruise version, the remake.
Yeah.
Okay, I had a personal preference towards that one just because I had a crush on Dakota Fanning, but the particular beings in that are actually based on known species of ET that are supposed to be some of the most violent out there.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. I did not know that.
At both sides, we hear a lot of talk about the Galactic Federation of Light. Then you have this Orion Council, the good aliens and the bad aliens.
Yeah.
Both sides are afraid of these guys.
Yeah. It's scary to think what's actually out there. To think what's lurking, waiting.
Can you imagine if something like that were to happen? I mean, think about it. These are light-based craft. It's not that out of the question. Dobby just inspired something. Holy crap. When you really think about it, something like War of the Worlds is not out of the question. The type of magnetic fields that get generated from the propulsions of these craft, if they interact with the atmosphere, they'll cause lightning. They can ride lightning. So who's to say that somebody hasn't figured out how to do matter transportation through what would look like highly energized particles, lightning?
Yeah.
That's a scary thought.
Everybody in the chat's running away now and digging a bunker in their back garden now because of that. The next thunderstorm, folk are going to be looking at it.
I don't mean that in a mean way there, Dobby. Just say, oh, gee, thanks, Dakota. It checks out. It can be done. That's the weird part.
Yeah. But you've got to look at okay, I know we're going doing this kind of sidewalk here, but side path, but a lot of movies are based. A lot of the aliens in movies are based and meant to be real aliens, which is actually, I mean, I've read Elena's book. I've had a look at Elena's book and all the pictures.
Yeah, we know you like Elena.
Yeah, and some of the extraterrestrials in there look very like some of the aliens that have been in movies.
And it's like, yeah, take for example the the engineers from the Prometheus, the Alien
Prometheus.
movie.
Yeah.
That's the Anunnaki. It's all
Yes.
big blue aliens with the tails and acted a lot like indigenous people. They're out there. Like I said, the beings from Independence Day, the reboot of War of the Worlds, they're out there.
Yeah.
It's certainly got. Yeah, when you really think about it,
Also,
what else does that mean? Let's say, for example, Marvel nerds. Does that mean somewhere out there Thanos is getting ready to make a snap?
or
Bye, Chris.
I mean, I mean, if you to watch the Alien movies, there's meant to be the aim, the ones that burst out your chest. You know, the ones I'm talking about. They're meant to exist.
You also
And
have to remember it's speculated that part of the design for the xenomorphs or whatever you want to call them
yeah,
are because H.R. Geiger, the guy who wrote the series, he was awfully fantastical about male genitals.
there you go. I did not know that. Only Dakota would know that, ladies and gentlemen. But here's a question that I've got for Dakota. Actually, it's just popped into my head, and I need to ask him now. On the new website, will we be able to post videos and pictures of certain things?
What do you mean?
Well, if I wanted to post that video in my sighting, or say we had some evidence of spiritual, could we post that one there?
Actually, now that I think about it,
Oh, look, I've made him think what the wee cogs are ticking over now.
we should put up like a little blog thing that anybody who's a member of ours can contribute to help promote either the shows or their stuff too.
Yeah,
I'll look into that.
Because I was just thinking, because if our fellow YouTubers, because there's a few in the chat, could maybe put some of their stuff in there, you know. You never know.
I'll look into it.
Yeah,
it can be done. I'll look into it.
I did find that interesting about because I need to break off for a minute. I found that really interesting what you said about the aliens in the books and stuff like that. But this would be a really good idea actually for the website, because obviously it's in the podcast form, right? People can't tell what we're actually talking about when we're showing pictures like I just showed, where they could go to look. So we'll keep you an update to that. We'll tell you again sometime. What do you think?
Here's what I have to do, and because you brought it up, there's a similar idea I had for the documentary.
Yep.
Where we can start putting together like further reading lists. And yes, I'm just going to say it now so it's out there. We do have enough of a reach to where we have affiliate programs.
Yep.
And some of the links we set up, we promise that they're still good, but we actually may earn a small commission from it. Just because this shit ain't cheap, man, my friends. But I was considering putting together like a further reading list as one of the perks for the documentary. We're going to be trying to raise funds through Kickstarter.
Well, the documentary.
So that way, if anybody's interested, perhaps wants to get involved in this type of research, they can just go, "Oh, this is where we go."
No, I mean the documentary's got to be great. I think it's going to be really good because we've got a really good bunch already in it, but we can't tell you who they are. So that's the end of that.
Well, let's just say that everyone who said yes so far, you have seen on these programs.
Yes.
So it's definitely going to be interesting once that comes together. Elena Denon, she's been helping me out with dealing some of my own case situations and has been recommending me to quite a few people. And those conversations have been quite lucrative. So we'll see what happens. We may have to split the documentary into 2 parts because we're getting so much.
Changing the subject, I couldn't help myself, but there's Dobby Sock again. Look what she said. Look what she's put up. Day of the Triffids. Anything in that is that one for all fantasy.
I'll
let you do that one.
Okay, let me just preface this. I know I look like I'm 45. Thought so apparently when we first met. I'm only 26. I have no clue what Day of the Triffids is.
Day of the Triffids.
Yeah.
Oh my God, ladies and gentlemen, he does not know who the film Day of the Triffids. It's about these big aliens, and they make the entire population of Earth blind. And there's big plants that come along and eat you. You know what game that is? Oh my God. See, this is what happens, guys, when you're working with a younger person.
Okay, I'm Googling that literally right now. That came out in 1962. You old ass mother.
Oh, there's been a few remakes. There was the one in 1962. Then there was the one in the
There's
early
the
70s.
2009 one.
Yeah.
I've never heard of this. So I'm like Googling on my computer, like, the fuck are these people talking about?
See, Dobby. See, that's youngsters nowadays, you know.
Hey, come on. You can agree that I could be a hell of a lot worse.
God, that's true. What's that Dobby saw in the chat? Oh, thanks, Dakota. It was a year before I was born.
I didn't realize some of y'all were old enough to almost be my grandparents.
You know. So we've got on the main channel, we've got some videos coming up, haven't we? We've got some lives coming up on there, pre-recorded lives for people to watch.
Yes, we do finally have a new episode of the Inner Quartz coming together. Thank you for getting off your butts, Chad and Linda. Just kidding.
Yes. It's terrible. He's always going to win about you. He's always going to.
He's the one that complained. Even though I'm technically the boss, he's the one that started up bitching.
Oh God, here we go again. I don't know.
You're the one that started that conversation.
I don't know. No, Chad and Linda are awesome. They really are, and I don't know how to do it. I mean, all the crystals that they produce.
No, they keep busy. That's why I wasn't going to push the issue.
Yeah, you know, I didn't know they were going ghost hunting. I just presumed they missed the slot.
Their life. You know, good for Chad. You know, he's pretty much the grandpa of the group. You know, good for Chad for getting out there.
Chad, you know where Dakota stays? You can visit him there. You're right. It's in the US next to you.
You want to know what's real bad?
What's that?
Linda's also the name of my grandma.
Chad, Linda, I don't blame you if you want to murder him in the night. I won't say nothing. Trust me.
Just remember, I'm almost 7 foot tall. If I go missing, people are going to notice.
I don't know. What do you think in the chat, guys? You know,
they don't see the floating bald head in the crowds.
I know, but we're going to also be me and Andrina. We're going to start putting videos out soon again for ghost investigations. We'll need to do a nighttime CE5. I'll need to do a nighttime CE5, and if you never hear from me again, obviously, either Drew has abducted me and put me in a cupboard, locked me away, or the aliens take me.
Drew's putting people in jars again.
Well, that's what you
with their witchpecker.
Oh my God! Please, Lord. See, guys, this is what I've got to put up with. You know. So, is there any other news coming to the channel?
Take over on the business side. This was your risk.
Look! I just come here because I've got the Scottish accent. You know. You've got to
I'm going to turn that into merch.
Well, I'll tell you what. You give us the best Scottish accent you can do. Like, wait for this, ladies and gentlemen.
Without sounding like a fat bastard?
Don't choke to death in your toast or anything like that. But on you go.
You know, I've heard, a friend of mine was talking about your accent, how she couldn't understand you. It sounded like you always had a piece of sausage in your mouth.
Well,
that's not the word she used, but I'm trying to keep it clean.
What was her name? What was her name, What was her name?
That would be my friend Angela.
Hello, Angela. There you go.
Apparently she cringes at your voice.
Does she?
I was like, you're probably the first woman I've ever heard.
That's terrible. That's that. So when I'm rich and famous, I'll not be picking you then.
Did you just admit you're going to try to buy women?
You know, it's a new society. It's the future is changing. You know. We'll have to give them a bit.
You and Dakota.
What's that, Chris? Admit it. What's that? Chris, admit it. You and Dakota are twins that were separated. Yes, I was the. You ever seen that one? Was it? What's his name? Danny DeVito and who was that?
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Aye, there you go. I'll be Arnold Schwarzenegger, and he can be Danny DeVito.
I don't know. Danny DeVito's more your vibe.
What do you mean? You know?
Yeah, separated by 15 years.
I think I'd make a handsome Danny DeVito. You know.
Well, we booked into you in the reenactments for the documentary, so
yeah. Well, it's you know. So if Ending the Champ wants to be in the documentary, you know, follow Dakota's advice.
We'll go ahead and I'll talk a little bit more about that since we're kind of completely off the rails for this episode.
Yeah. Well, Lewis was meant to be here. Obviously, the government didn't want.
Thanks, shadow governments, for causing technical issues and fires and plagues.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
and baldness.
That's just a side effect of the paranormal, my friend. Anyway, if you would like to be in the documentary, there's going to be a couple options. One, like I said, there's going to be, we're going to take clips from these shows. So pop on as a guest. Don't be shy. There's a reason why I'm so goofy all the time. You will also, one of the perks, few of the perks actually for the film, you'll actually get to have your name in the credits as well, which is not that big of a deal, plus a few other trinkets. But we will also be putting out casting calls as well, where you'll be able to record your own testimonies and things like that and be featured in the documentary. So we want to try to show that this is not just something that's just affecting one certain dynamic. You know, it's like when we had that Dave Hobrin, what was his last name?
Yes,
Birmingham UFO Group. I apologize if he's listening.
Terrible. Mispronouncing names. That's because I was doing it.
You always mispronounce mine. Anyway.
You mispronounced mine too.
Anyway.
Oh dear God, I just don't know.
With the document, one of the things we want to do is to try to show that this is not just something that's affecting one certain dynamic. Everybody around the world is seeing this stuff.
Yes.
There might be a weird experiment where you see me electrocuted. So
the UFO sightings are off the scale. Everybody's talking about it. Everybody knows about this, and it's getting more and more and more every week now.
Mm-hmm.
People message me all the time asking what's happened, what is going on. I don't know. If I knew the answers, I would tell you so, but I honestly do not know what's happening.
Based on what I know, if I have an alien wife and kids out there, I want them to get me the hell out of here.
Maybe they've left you here for a reason.
Then I can't be held responsible for what happens.
Oh, yes. You know, it's I mean, everything's coming together with the channel and stuff like that. We're getting out there. We're getting out to the podcast. YouTube is starting to die. Like, let's admit it. YouTube is dying, and we're getting a lot of views on our Amazon side and the other side because YouTube is policed really bad. I mean, what's your thoughts on that, Dakota? Do you think YouTube's went in a dive?
Well, a lot of it is that, okay, see, YouTube and Google and Alphabet, whatever they want to be called, those were some of the go-to resources for if you were wanting to promote a business, you were wanting to, do work, manage emails, calendars, Word documents. they were the go-to because it was free.
Yes.
But now, because so many people were taking advantage of it, good old-fashioned green, good old money.
Yeah.
They're wanting everybody to pay out, thinking that they're going to stick around. But no, not a lot of people realize that when you're in, say, like in freelance work, you want to reduce half of your clientele. You boost up your rates by half. You double your rates.
What annoys me with YouTube is now that we've made it to over 1,000 subscribers, right? And I would have liked to have monetized, which would have helped with the channel and stuff, right? But we can't monetize for the simple reason we need 2,000 watch hours or something like that. So we're not allowed to put adverts on our videos. But if I put a video, or Dakota puts a video out on the channel and it gets over 150 views, YouTube automatically put their adverts on and they get paid for it, but we don't. And that's why I think YouTube's declining really quickly, and that's why you are better coming to the podcast side and subscribing to us, because it's going to, I was just going to say, it's going to come a point when we start getting guests on that are quite controversial, because it will happen in the UFO field, in the conspiracy field, and it'll be fine on the podcast side because you'll be able to go and listen to it. But on YouTube, they'll just be like, "Oh, take that video down because it's against our community guidelines." When you go to court, sorry.
And no, sorry for jumping. I was just gonna say, here's the thing, though. With a lot of these social media websites, and I've kind of been exploring some other opportunities to try to help some funding come in, is that they're awfully hypocritical.
Yes.
I mean, they're going against their own guidelines with some of these factions. There's a lot of whistleblowers coming out. Take that woman that revealed that Facebook purposely antagonizes people just to get more people to come on to their website. So, like, if you use a little angry emoji, apparently that carries like 5 times more weight than liking a video.
Yeah.
Just as an example. TikTok, that's a horrible excuse. They've had a whistleblower come out and fully admit that their moderation team is allowed to take personal grudges against certain content creators.
Yeah.
You'll see videos of fucking domestic abuse, children getting exploited and all of this. Nothing gets done about them. But there's a guy from Britain who's an atheist who likes to dress up as Jesus and show LGBT support. He's gotten taken down almost, I think, 11 times now.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's hypocritical.
It's not just that. What about our friend Brian? Brian Frey, phobia. Right. That what happened to him. That what happened to him on Facebook was ridiculous. Do you want to tell the story? Because I just don't know.
It is ridiculous. Dobby has done the exact same thing a few times through the YouTube side.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know I'm picking on you tonight, Dobby, but anyway. Don't worry, I pick on everybody I like. So
that's fine.
So for those of you who don't know, Brian J. Laverty, he just came off a show with us. We were getting ready to do the UFO one. He posted 4 little emojis of a little gray alien, and it got flagged by Facebook.
Yeah, and he was banned for a week.
Like, who did he piss off on Facebook's side?
Yeah.
Because they fully admit that if you get flagged so many times on Facebook, you actually get put on a list, so that even if you have somebody report one little message, and it could be completely innocent, you'll automatically get put into Facebook jail. I mean, Drina has gone through that how many times now?
I mean, I'm going to tell you something, guys. If you have not checked out Parapost chat, I suggest that you go and check out Parapost, because it's exactly the same as Facebook, except it's for paranormal, right? And I think it's brilliant. And this is going out tonight to the Parapost network. I mean, honestly, guys, give it a subscribe. They've got an app on iOS and Android. Download it. It's free. Enjoy. You know, because Facebook has only got a matter of time before it kicks you off their system in case you say, "Oh, I don't like Mark Zuckerberg." Well, I just said that. Probably get banned for that.
Well,
You know?
just think how much trouble is Facebook with the UK right now.
Yeah, that's right. They're going to have to give every citizen in the United Kingdom $50, $60, £50 because of their spying. I mean, this is what's wrong with this world. I mean, YouTube used to be great. I know a lot of big YouTubers, with like 500,000 subscribers and such, and they started off when YouTube was good. Yeah, you didn't need 1,000 subscribers to monetize. You didn't need all of this rubbish. Right now,
Yeah.
you can't thought police and you can't see anything anymore in case you get a visit from the law. You know, because it's terrible the way the world has went. And not just with YouTube, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter's the same. It's when you go. Sorry, Dakota.
I agree with you. It's like I just said. YouTube used to be great, but they're wanting to try to cash in more on people doing so well on the platform. Facebook used to be awesome about getting views for your content, for your business, whatever it happened to maybe. They started getting greedy.
Yeah.
That's why one of the guys I follow for business mentors, managed to talk to him a couple of times. They say right now the two best websites, and at least one of them's going downhill since more stuff coming out about it, was LinkedIn, because it runs now like Facebook used to be.
Yeah.
And TikTok. And just look at the controversy that comes out of TikTok. And speaking of the whole law enforcement thing, they have the technology to stop all the negative stuff. In fact, I know one little story, and I want to advocate this for some of our younger viewers who fully admit to wanting to harass people at school. Okay?
Yeah.
There was an incident not too long ago where a young man started posting threats to shoot up a school through Snapchat. Through a combination of Google Images, Snapchat was able to notify the FBI and arrest the child within an hour before the school even opened. That was the main reason, because they happened to catch an image of the school billboard that was on Google Maps. The technology is there to stop all this negative stuff. But because they're making more money off of that, they're not doing anything.
But what you have to remember, Dakota, TikTok are really bad. It's a Chinese company, and Chinese, they're stealing your information. Honestly, they are. They're stealing your information.
Yeah,
I
know.
I mean, I get quite a few alerts because of my YouTube channel, that me and Dakota's YouTube channel, Bald and Bonkers, the main one, and I got a message. I don't know if you got it, and it said, "We will give you more views if you pay £15 or £20 or £40. We will give you more views."
Yeah,
so they're deliberately restricting people seeing your post, right? Unless you pay them.
And here's the thing: the scam goes full circle. YouTube, Facebook have both been caught about this. They say they're wanting to ban click farms, which, if you've seen some of the articles that come out, these are like it's in India that have these full-on big ass array of smartphones that randomly like random people's pages. They're trying to ban that. Yet, for their promotional services, that's exactly who they get run through.
I know.
The scam goes full circle.
I know a lot of good YouTubers that are on YouTube, and I could name 5 of them right now. Amazing YouTubers, paranormal investigators mostly. They do amazing work, and their videos are even better than what you would get in the travel channel, right? And they've not got many subscribers and hardly any views. Whereas you get all these people that are fakers. You can tell they're fake. They fake everything, and they get thousands and thousands of views because they're paying for the views. I mean, you think about it. If I had to do a video right tomorrow, right, and then pay for say 20,000 views on that, that's going to attract people. Think about it. Though, why was 20,000 people like this channel? So it's going to draw people in. That's what it's all about. And YouTube let people let that away. But when people are actually really good at something, they slap your wrist and take videos down like they did with us.
Yeah, and I get it. And here's an example of where that logic comes in. It's something I've seen in person. I was on a trip through Thailand. We were on the bridge over River Kwai.
All right.
And there was this, I assume they were family members. They were all playing musical instruments and gathering money. I can't remember what song she was playing, but there would have been a 4 or 5-year-old little girl playing a song by the Cranberries on her guitar.
Yeah.
And I will admit, for her age, she was amazing.
Yeah.
I'll fully admit it. So, as we were coming back through, we were in this little group. She was still there going along. I said, you know what? That's too cute. I got to give it. So I pulled out what would be 100 baht. That's their local currency, which would be about $20 US, if I remember right. And I put it in her little hat. Obviously, she got all excited.
Mm-hmm.
She started jumping around. Second, I walk away. That's when more people started to give her more money.
Yeah.
And I could see her jumping over the crowd trying to thank me. She didn't speak English, but clearly she was trying to thank me. That's where that comes in. People won't react. It's a whole mob mentality thing. That's where that is able to flourish so well. And that's how so many people who are just trying to make an honest living doing what they love get screwed over because they don't know how to spot that type of thing in time.
Yeah. I mean, I would say Facebook and YouTube are one of the most worst culprits out there. I mean, I could post a video, this channel on Facebook. Yeah, but lucky if maybe 2 or 3 views is on it, right? But see if I had to pay for, say, 500 views, by next week I'd be sitting probably at 2,000, 3,000 views.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would get loads of subscribers. And that's the problem. The society we're in now, you've got to pay for everything.
Mm-hmm.
You have to pay for everything. It's not just that. Dakota plays a lot of games, and I play a lot of games. I don't upload my games onto the channel. Maybe I should, it'd be a laugh. But most games now, they're not really games anymore. It's just pay to win. You have to pay for absolutely everything. And they're putting the price, the taxes are going sky high. And I honestly don't know the way the world is going, guys. And yes, this has got to do with UFO stuff, because we're putting this video out tonight about UFO stuff, but we're showing the videos, and I bet you we don't get over 50 or 60 views on this on YouTube. We'll get views, we'll get quite a lot of views on Amazon Music, because that's not part of their network, and they can't police that and ban it and take it down. YouTube is dead. It is dead now. Unless someone else buys it and opens it up again to like it should have been. But YouTube, the era of YouTube and putting out private videos is gone. I know people that put videos out about conspiracy stuff. YouTube used to be a place where you could post something, and it was kind of your kind of way of protesting, right? And you could put something out, instant ban, removed. No free speech on the internet anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So, what's your thoughts on that, Dakota?
I mean, let's kind of loop this back into UFO discussion because with those of you who try to complain, think about it. Conspiracy, cover-ups, it's all part of it. So that's our logic. I mean, think about it. a little bit while back when we started actually taking up Lisa's advice on CE5.
Yeah.
And there was a certain documentary that Dr. Greer put up on his website that anybody's allowed to stream on their own stuff, so
That's
long as
right.
it's not monetized or you don't alter it. The only two conditions. The only thing I did to that video was added like a little bit of an intro to explain why this is being included on my channel. It's about UFOs, talking about some of the people he's encountered that tried to silence his work. It got flagged on YouTube through my own channel, Specialist of the Strange, trying to incite terroristic acts. How the hell, unless somehow they interpret it as a Heaven's Gate type of situation, which none of that was there, does
Exactly.
UFOs incite acts of terrorism?
Exactly. They don't want people finding out the truth, guys, about what's really. Guys, if they find the truth out about aliens, the world would change for the good, and they don't want it for the good. They want you to keep buying oil, right? And that's a simple fact. They want you to keep buying oil. Yes, they're putting out electric cars, right, guys? But they reckon they'll still be burning oil in the year 2070, right? I mean, it's madness. It's absolute madness.
You just gotta add on to that. Think about it. Say, we'll just take that at face value for sake of argument. If I'm not mistaken, the latest doomsday scenarios where the Earth, society, has reached a point of no return, complete and total collapse. They estimate at current progress, it should be by 2050.
Yep.
What does that say?
Well, that's when the resources are going to start running out.
You know, there's a little something else that, speaking of which, that just reminded me. Did you know that Sir Isaac Newton, he did a series of calculations? I'm reciting this off the top of my head, so I may be getting some details wrong here. But Sir Isaac Newton did a series of calculations, say like world cycles, say like how the Mayan calendar was supposed to predict when the next world cycle was going to begin.
Yep.
His calculations actually pointed that to about the year 2020.
That's right.
And there's certain people that speculate when we converted to the Gregorian calendar, which is what we have now, and from the Julian calendar, we lost about 8 years. Mayan calendar was supposed to end on 2012. So if we lost about 8 years, technically, 2012 was supposed to be 2020. And this is the thought process that I've been bringing up, is that there's a lot of information that says the year 2020 from the year 2025 at the latest. And this is kind of the short end of the estimate. We're in the middle of the apocalypse as we speak.
I mean, you just need to look at, I've got to name it, Ukraine. I mean, that's slowly spiraling out of control.
And that's supposed to start spiraling out because of arcs left by ET civilization long ago.
Yes.
I mean, it's getting crazy.
Yeah. I'm not going to get into the Ukraine thing because it's too complex, and I know for a fact it's going to blow up big time. All it takes is one stray missile, one stray tank shell, one stray bullet that goes over that border and kills someone. Or Putin gets desperate and he uses tactical battlefield nuclear weapons. And as soon as he launches one of them or launches a chemical weapon, that's it. That's it. That you'll be in the Third World War. I watched a thing last night about this. I think they will use tactical nuclear weapons. I don't think it'll be a full-scale nuclear war. I think it'll be a limited. But still, guys, it'll still be about 1 billion dead because it'll cause radiation and this. Did you see that, Dakota? Before we go, did you see that thing about the Europe? There was a prediction that Europe will be uninhabitable by the year 2050. So it makes you wonder, why would it be uninhabitable? What would cause something like that to be uninhabitable?
Here's another thing. Honestly, with a lot of the activity, like I mentioned before, towards the beginning of the show, some of the more recent technological abnormalities, we did have a real major sort of solar flare that wasn't really too intense to cause any major damage, but interfere with electronics rather easily. But here's the thing. And I just thought of this because I got an article alert a couple hours before we came on, saying that Google is actually urging users of Google Chrome to go in and update their stuff immediately. Update the software for it, whether it's on your phone, on your computer, because they have discovered that in a lot of these cyber attacks that are happening because of the Russian-Ukraine situation, there's a lot of people getting attacked right now because there was an open-ended exploit that they just found out, and they're saying, "Oh fuck, we better close this up before it gets too out of hand."
Yeah.
When you really think about it, we're already on the dawn of World War III, but no one wants to admit it.
No one wants to admit it. It will happen. In my opinion, people say to me, "Do you think ET will do anything?" I think they will. I think they will stop them using the big nuclear weapons. But I don't think they'll stop conventional warfare. I don't think they'll stop battlefield nuclear weapons, but I think they'll stop them using the big ones that can level like 40 miles radius.
Even the smaller nukes would be a subject of concern for them.
Oh yeah. But all it's going to take is one attack for Russia. All it's going to take is if you wake up tomorrow and you realise that Putin has launched a tactical nuclear weapon or used a chemical weapon, you buy as much food and water as you can. Because, it's going to happen. I mean, nuclear war. You know what I mean?
You gotta just think about it like this. On the alien side, there's word through contactees that while the good guys, well, I'll just use those terms for simplicity reasons.
Yeah.
The good guys will do what they can to try to stop it. But due to their bylaws, due to their directives, they can't interfere directly.
Can't interfere.
Ask their permission, one, or two, there's any threat that anything we do ends up off-world. The bad ones, the ones, they're waiting for us to fuck up. One wrong move, they will invade.
Yeah.
Well, that's more the neutral ones, but the bad ones, they're already wanting to invade, but they'll come in during the violence. And let's just go for NATO, Russia.
Yes.
There's a lot of speculation that Putin is dealing with some sort of mental illness.
He has, yeah.
He is very sick. There's a lot of rumors going out about that right now. So you have the U.S. as the main insider for anything against Russia. We have Biden, who clearly acts like he has the onset of dementia or had a stroke, and they've tried to cover it up. Some very concerning things from him too.
Look, right. The thing about President Biden, you can clearly see there is something wrong with him, right? There is something wrong with him. I mean, he's just put his foot in that again yesterday, and I'm not talking about that. But I'm just saying to the people in the chat, if anything does happen with Russia, that I don't think it will go full scale nuclear war. As I would say, I think stuff will happen, but just be prepared. That's all I'm going to say. What do you think? Yeah, you should always be prepared.
True, and this is coming from someone from Idaho when we have complete doomsday preppers over here. But as I was saying, two of the biggest parties in this conflict, U.S. and Russia. Yes, Ukraine's one getting in bed, but U.S. is one of the main driving forces behind
Of course it
NATO.
is.
You have, let me finish. The fate of whether or not the world ends up in total destruction is under two senile, mentally ill old men. There's a thought to end the show right there.
Exactly. So, guys, I hope you enjoyed the show. We'll get Lewis back on once he buys a new PC monitor and computer.
Oh, yeah.
We'll probably fry that again. But there's shows coming up through the week on the main channel and the inner courts too. That should be interesting. So take care, guys, and I hope you have a lovely week. And we'll see you on, is it Friday, Carers, Dakota? Friday, Carers vid live you do? You do one on Friday?
Well, that,
You're aware of this blessings, you're like,
no, I'm a one. That's it. Cares is just like a one-off special every now and then type of thing.
Alright,
It's not a regular
okay.
program. That
so
that was
on
my
Saturday
idea.
and Sunday.
We'll see you. We'll see you when we see you. How about that?
Yeah. And if we don't, well, see you there.
See you on the other side then.
Mm-hmm.